Hey folks, Mel the Train Tutor back in the studio and back with another Let's Make for you. And we're back in the Battlefield Basics for this one, but with something special. On last week's live show, I was challenged to make tents. So, this is your Let's Make on making military tents, guys. Come on, let me show you how I do it. So when it comes to making tents, the first thing that we need to concentrate on is our substructure. And I'm making mine out of wire, but before we get to that, I want to show you this. This is my little drawing, my template, okay? And it's basically the shape of the tent I want to build. And if I get this little Chindit officer, put him there, see the scale's roughly right, maybe a couple of mils out, but it's doable, yeah? You can adjust as you need to, and if I bring it up, yeah, centre beam is 2 1/4 inches, 3/4 inches at the side, and 1.5 inches from the centre either way, yeah, for our tent. Now, I'm going to use wire to make my substructure. There are lots of other alternatives for making substructures. Here's a quick video on a few suggestions. Now the wire I'm going to use is this stuff, okay? And these are floral stems. You can get them from a florist or you can buy them on eBay as floral stem wires. They're dirt cheap. You can get them in bags of like 100 for a couple of quid. Yeah, and what we're going to do is we're going to bend it into this shape. And you can immediately start to see what I'm doing here. Yeah, so I've got my template. Yeah, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. And it involves Lego. Yeah, I love Lego. Yeah, so I've got a couple of Lego bricks. If you need to do a really sharp angle with a wire, Lego is the way to go. What you do is you come along and I want to bend this piece, yeah, round here in a nice right angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and I'm going to put one brick right up against the edge, yeah, to there. And then I'm going to get my other brick, yeah, and put it, I've got to be careful with my hands so you can see what I'm doing here because normally I block the camera. Yeah, I put it on the other corner and then I slide it round. See how I'm twisting it? Don't mess this up now, both you're on camera. There you go. And if I pull that away, perfect right angle. Really nice sharp curve, no bending of the wires from where you've tried to bend it, dead easy. And then it's just a matter of doing the other one. So if we put that one there, line it up. A little bit of tape on the wire can certainly help hold it all in place. Yeah, I'm just fiddling. So, that one there, and then bend this one. Always go a little bit over your line, because wires tend to spring back a little. Yeah, so you just need to go past the line just a little so it springs back, yeah, to straight. And very quickly, if I bring this one up and this one up, yeah, you will see how by using my template and by using my Lego bricks, I'm making them pretty much identical. Okay, so my next job is I need 3 of these. And one of the things I'm doing very quickly before I move on is at the bottom at that point, yeah, I am just bending the legs, yeah, upwards. Now to do that, that's another dead easy one. What I'm doing is I'm finding the point, I'm putting my brick on, and then I'm coming in with a metal ruler, I'm sliding it under the wire, so I can get right close up to the point and then I'm bending it upwards and that's giving me that nice sharp bend there. So I need to make substructures. Back in a sec. So that's all my substructure wires bent to shape and it's time to fix them to our base. Now I've got a piece of EPVC foam board here, my preferred basing material for these sort of pieces. If you don't know what this is, here are the fast facts. Obviously, if you can't get your hands on this sort of stuff, you can use other sort of bases. Now, if you look on it, you'll see 2 lines. These are 3 inches apart, i.e. the same distance as that. They're 4 inches long, and I've put a mark at the middle as well because I've got 3 struts. And now all I'm going to do is, quite simply, I'm going to get my wires. Yeah, I'm going to come along and basically put them onto my lines. Yeah, and I'm just going to glue them down. And to glue them down, yeah, a little bit of gel super glue. So my next job is I'm just going to very quickly just glue all these down. So that's all my substructures glued on. Easy peasy. Now it's time to actually add the poles, the wooden poles, and also the guide ropes. Now the guide ropes are quite fiddly, and on this sort of base, if I put them on this one, it won't look right, to be perfectly honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the technique to just do the main one at the front, and if you want to replicate that for the rest of your watch click guide ropes, fill your boots. Yeah, so all I've done is I put a little hole at the front, yeah, using a pin vise, a little bit of super glue in there, and then I've just got a tiny little bit of cocktail stick. I'm just going to wedge it in the hole and give it a good shove, getting in there nice and deep and firm so it's fixed. There we go. So there's my, what do you call it, there's my tent peg. You could trim them shorter, you could use thinner wood or a bit of wire, that's down to you guys. Yeah, so that one's done. Now we need to do our, what do you call it, our tent poles, and for this, barbecue skewer. And I've cut them, yeah, I thought I'd cut them to the perfect length. Yes, I have cut them to the perfect length. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a blob of super glue there, yeah, a little bit on the top, and I'm just going to tuck them under the wires. So if I come along and I put a blob there, that's more than a blob, it's leaking. Yeah, I put a blob on the top there. Yeah, and then what I do is I come along and I get these wires and I squeeze them just a little, because that will raise them up a little. I tuck my barbecue skewer under, put it in my PVA, let go of the wire, yeah, and that'll make it all nice and tense. In fact, it's pretty intense. Yeah, and if I bring it up, yeah, and you can see, because I basically, what I did was I squeezed that, which raised the top up so I could tuck it under. So I just need to do it at the front now and then leave it to dry. Yeah? Right, so the beams are in and they're dry, the support columns. And what I'm doing is I'm adding a guide rope. Now, I'm only going to add one to the front. If you want to replicate it on the sides, you'll need a slightly bigger piece and a lot of patience. Okay, now I've tied a knot around my little stump of what you call cocktail stick there with my little bit of cotton. A little bit of cotton I've got here. Okay, and I did a simple knot and then just what you call it, put a little bit of glue on it and then just, you know, trimmed up the excessive lengths. Next job is I need to run the guide rope up to here. Now typically they'd be run across here, across the top and then down the back. We're only doing it to here just for an example. So, yeah, dead simple, put a little bit of super glue, yeah, my gel super glue right on the top, yeah, and then get my string. This is fiddly, okay. But basically I want to line it straight up and drop it into that super glue. And I just want to leave it. Yeah, so if I bring it up for you. Yeah, there you go. Once that's dry at the top, I'll be able to come in with a blade and just trim that off, and that'll give me a nice, strong, well bonded guide rope, guys. And then after that, it's time to actually start dressing it up with our baby wipes. So we'll leave this to dry. And that's Kez, yeah, and I'll come back in a moment. So that's my guide rope on, it's all dry and it's time to start canvassing this up. Now you'll notice that we haven't actually put any basing texture on it yet. When I'm doing tents, I don't like putting the basing texture on until the tent is on. The tent normally involves quite a lot of fluids and that sort of stuff, and I've had problems with in past it draining, slowly draining off the material onto the base and then affecting my basing texture. So now, yeah, I put the tents on first and then I'll do the basing texture. Now for the actual tent itself, yeah, there's all sorts of options. A lot of people like paper towels. I can't stand them personally. Okay, because once they're wet, you know, they rip so easily. Quite a lot of people like dryer sheets. Yeah, I don't use them because I don't use dryer sheets. And instead what I've got is I've got baby wipes. Okay, now I'll be honest with you, this isn't the best of baby wipes. I didn't take a proper look at the packet before I picked them up, okay? And it's not the best of materials for this, what you call it. You can get better baby wipes. You want the ones that are flat and sheen, but we'll see what we can do with this. Yeah, and if I can do something good with this, then you'll be able to do something much better, yeah, with a decent baby wipe brand. Generally, the cheaper brands are the better ones for this sort of stuff. Avoid the ones with little teddy bears imprinted on them. Yeah, you don't want teddy teddy bears on your canvas. So the next job is to stick them down. Now these have been washed out, i.e. I've run them under some warm water to get rid of the chemicals that are inside and wrung them out, but they are still a bit damp. Now that's okay because super glue will still work with them. So this is my gel super glue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and just on these uprights here, yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit of super glue. Come on. Yeah. On that one and that one. Yeah, and then what I've done is I've pre-cut my strips to the required length that I need. Now these are a little bit longer than my actual tent, but the height is right for what I need to do. So first off, come in, just hold it nice and loose like, yeah, and just fold it up there. And then just if you very quickly just give it just a touch. You've got a little bit of time to move it and that sort of stuff before the super glue grips, but not much. Yeah, and that's it. There you are. That's your first piece down. Yeah, and it is stuck. I don't want to pull it too hard, but it's fixed nice and firm. There's no more fiddling with that now. Now you'll notice I've got overhangs. That's perfectly okay. What we want to do is we want to wait for this to dry, yeah, and then we'll just come in with a blade and clean those up. Okay, so obviously now I've got another strip here, and then I've got my top piece to dress over the top. So I'm going to do that now. So there we are. That's our tent all on. Yeah? Not perfect, but pretty damn good, to be perfectly honest. You can see the texture a little. I'm a little annoyed about that, but that should smooth out when we actually paint it. Now the next job I've got to do is, obviously I've got to clean up these edges. Now you can use scissors for that sort of thing. There's a couple of options. I like blades for the long bits, so in this case, yeah. And because it's stuck to the wire, I can come straight down. Yeah. And essentially trim it quite neatly. Yeah, so if I bring that up, yeah, clean that up, edge up rather nice. Okay, so next job, I've got to go along and I've just got to clean up all these edges, haven't I? So there we have it. That's our piece all trimmed up, and you can see it's starting to look rather tent-like. I'm getting a little bit worried about this bobbly texture, but we'll just have to roll with it and see how we do. I think you're going to have to get better baby wipes than me. I shouldn't have just grabbed them from the bathroom. I should have took a better nose. Now, when it comes to painting these up and sealing them and all that, since firming them up, a lot of people tend to use PVA, you know, brush on watered down PVA. A lot of people I've even heard using Mod Podge. Yeah. Not the best way to go, to be perfectly honest, from my experience. Now the best way to stiffen up material is to get paint on them. Now this is still slightly damp. Yeah, I've got this really vivid green here. Now this is okay, this isn't going to be the final colour of the tent. I'm actually going to give it a spray with this stuff to give me a nice drab olive green. I just want to stiffen it up first. Yeah, and this will do nicely for that. So, no extra water. Yeah, because it doesn't need thinning down. All I'm going to do is dip my brush in and very gently spread it on. And if I show you, you can see it going on there. So my next job, I've got to do all of this. So there we go, all painted up green. Now remember, this isn't the final colour. Yeah, this is just to stiffen it up. Now it has filled the little gaps, but yeah, I'm still struggling with the texture. Use smoother baby wipes, guys, don't be Mel, okay? But it does look a lot worse on camera than it does in real life, to be perfectly honest, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much. Now the next job we've got to do is just leave this to dry, okay? Yeah, once it's dry I'll be able to come back and show you exactly how stiffened up, yeah, it is once you've actually got, you know, a layer of paint on it. So with that in mind, yeah, we'll put this up and we'll come back to it. Oh, you bugger, I've just realised. Right, do I redo it or do I not? I can't redo it. Ah! Okay guys, yeah, I've just realised what I've done wrong. If you look inside, yeah, inside it's really smooth. The bobbly texture's only on one bloody side, isn't it? Bugger. Yeah, that's why if you look at it, do you see this bottom one? Yeah, that's nice and smooth, and this top one is not. Can I? This is where Mel redoes it. And there we go. Took about 15 minutes. Okay, what to take from this? Don't be Mel. Check which side is the bobble on before gluing it down. Now, if you lift it, if I bring it in close, you can see all the bubbles on the inside. There is a slight texture there that's probably coming through on the camera, but it's looking a hell of a lot worse on the camera because it's picking up the shadows and everything than it actually does in real life. It looks pretty flat in real life. Yeah, so that's the basic of getting our tent down, guys, when we do it properly. Now remember, the green isn't the finished colour. It's purely getting paint on there, yeah, so that this will stiffen up. So at the minute, yeah, if I do that, you can see it's still essentially wet fabric. What we're going to do is we're going to dry this now, yeah, and I'll bring it back once it's dry. So 2 coats later, and here we have it, guys. And if I come along, yeah, easy peasy. Forget the watered down PVA and the Mod Podge. Just get some paint on it. Paint is brilliant at stiffening up materials. No matter whether you use paper towels or dryer sheets, or if you go with baby wipes like me. Just remember to get them the right way round, eh? Yeah, but as you can see, looking lovely. Now, it's the wrong sort of green, isn't it? So I want to change the colour up a bit, and it's best to do it at this stage. So, yeah, I've got a can of Army Painter, yeah, drab olive green, which is a military green. We're going to give this a bit of a spray, and I'll bring it back once it's done. So that's it for all our tent techniques, guys. That's everything you need to know to sort of put these tents together. Yeah, and as you can see, lovely finish. Okay, now obviously I've got to finish making it look beautiful. So my next job is I've got to paint the ground brown. Once that's done, I've got to detail up the details of the actual tent. So that means things like painting the wooden support beams wood, and painting the string and the peg, and just highlighting it up a little. Okay, and then after that, it's just time to flock it up. So there we have a little bit of paint on it, a little bit of flock and a bit of clump foliage, and it looks beautiful. Yeah, remember, all I've done here is just a little bit of dry brushing with a slightly lighter drab green, painted the wooden posts, painted the string, flocked it with my normal spot technique with 3-tone and a little bit of clump foliage. And I could do more, as always, you know what I mean, but it's mainly about showing you the technique. So there you are. Right, let me set up for the long shot and we'll go through the important techniques again, yeah? Right. So there you are, guys. It's as simple as that. As I said, just remember, start off with your template so you can get your substructure right if you're going for the wire. Remember, we've also got the polystyrene, we've got the cardboard, and we've got the hot glue on greaseproof paper techniques for making substructures as well. But all of those pretty much use templates as well. So before you start to craft your template. Get that right first. Okay, now once you've got that right, it's about choosing your substructure. Yeah, whether it's wire, barbecue skewers, cocktail sticks, foam, plastic bits of sprue, whatever it is. Pick your materials, prep them, cut them, fix them together. After that, it's your tent material. Now remember, I don't recommend paper towels. Yeah, I tend to find that when I'm working with them and when they're wet and you're moving around, they rip too much. Yeah, so I prefer the baby wipes. Yeah, I know a lot of people like dryer sheets, but I don't use them, so I'm not going to go and buy them just to make tents. Yeah, I do use baby wipes. They're not recycled baby wipes. Don't do that. Okay, not unless you want Nurgle or Terrain anyway. As always with the baby wipes, try and be a bit better than Mel and buy the cheap ones, not the expensive ones with the nice patterns on. Yeah, avoid the ones with teddy bears because they show up really quite keenly when you put a wash on them. Yeah, I have a friend with some Orc Terrain I made. Yeah, he has teddy bear canvases on his. He hasn't seen them yet, but they're all over it. Okay, now remember, when it comes to firming up your material, remember that super glue, especially gel super glue, will work with something that's wet. So it's perfectly fine to use with baby wipes, for things that are pre-soaked in PVA. Yeah, brilliant solution. Other thing to remember is when it comes to stiffening them up, paint works so much better than PVA or Mod Podge. Yeah, whether it's emulsion paint out of a tester pot or whether it's spray paint, either way, it will give you a nice firm surface. Now I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best at painting canvases. It's a bit too organic for my terrain needs, you know what I mean, or non-concrete for my terrain needs. So if anyone's got any good tutorials or anything like that, drop them in the comments for little old Melee. Yeah, because I could do with picking that up. But not bad, eh? Yeah, for a couple of wires, some baby wipes and some some barbecue skewers. That's not bad at all. Yeah, so that's it for this one. Yep, there will be another tent tutorial in the future, but we'll tackle that when we do the medieval stuff and I do a jousting set, because I've been challenged to do a bell tent and I love my challenges. Yeah, but in the meantime, guys, I'm turning around this way already. In the meantime, guys, yeah, obviously, got any questions, get them in the comments below. Like it, share it, as always. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, guys, if you do like these tutorials and you look forward to the videos and they are helping you with your hobby, please consider supporting the channel. Yeah, whether it's $1 a month on one of the Patreon links in one of these corners, or you do a one-off via the PayPal Me link down in the description. Either way, keeps the lights on, the camera's rolling. Yeah, frazzles in me belly and me making terrain tutorials for you. So everyone's happy. So if you like it, please support it, guys. And in the meantime, I'll see you soon with more tutorials, guys. All the best.